Hello, Professor. My name is Harun Rai, and my student ID is 100944374. In this part of my assignment, I'll be talking about whistleblowing laws and incident that happen in my identified countries. So, first of all, let me start with my identified countries. As instructed, my identified countries will be Kenya, Israel, and Hungary. As you can see, my third last digit is 3. So Kenya will be my first country, and then my second last digit is 7. So Israel will be my another country. And then the last digit is 4. So Hungary will be my last country for the research. So I'll be working on mm, Kenya, Israel, and then Hungary. This is subtopic 1A, where I'll be talking about whistleblowing laws in Kenya. Basically, I'll be talking about two laws that I have found during my research. So, the first law is the Bribery Act 2016. This law was passed in 2016, and some amendments were done in 2022. It covers both sectors, private and public, and then this law defined what is a whistleblower and also talked about, the required protections to such whistleblowers. And then it emphasizes the whistleblowers, informants, or the witnesses of any, bribery or corruption cases should not be intimidated or harassed. Uh, those offenses might include the demotion or reprimand, dismissal, or uh, transfer to less favorable, positions. And then, if it is found or and it is proved, the penalties include 1 million shillings. Shillings here is the Kenyan currency, or imprisonment for up to 1 year, or both. And then further, the law enforcement agencies are required to provide safeguard uh, for the identities of the informants and the witnesses. Also, if there is any deliberate and or careless exposure of the informants and then their details, it is also regarded as an offense. Further, this law is enforced by Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission of Kenya, which is EACC. Though this law is considered a very good law there, uh, but often there is, found some implementation challenge. And also, I have, provided live links here. Also, I'll be providing it in my references document too. Another law here is whistleblowers protection bill. Actually, this is not a law. It's a bill. It's in a um, process in the parliament for the consideration. So, as I said, it is currently under the consideration in the parliament, and this bill particularly tries to comprehend the protection for whistleblowers so that you know uh, some improvement in regarding the corruption can be uh, uh, done. As earlier law, this bill also tries to cover both sectors, private and public sectors, and this bill has particularly, proposed to start to establish a whistleblower protection commission. And obviously, it is not a law, so it has not been enforced yet. And then its effectiveness is remains to be seen. So I have posted some of the screenshot of the bill on right side of my presentation, as you can see. And this is subtopic 1B, where I'll be talking about whistleblowing laws in Israel. The first law that I have found here is the State Comptroller Law, 1958. This was passed in 1958 and then continuously in 2000, in 1971 and 1981. Some, the revisits were made uh, to add the whistleblower protection to this law. This law specifically covers the public sector and government employees, and then this law has empowered the state controller and ombudsman to investigate any complaints from the employees regarding the corruption and related things. Uh, Also, this law specifically authorizes ombudsman to, issue orders so that the whistleblowers can be protected uh, from any unwanted incidents and so on. Further, this law is considered as an important act in Israel regarding protecting the whistleblowers in public sector. Uh, Here is another law, which is called Protection of Employees Law, which was passed in 1997. This law covers both the public and private sector employees, and then uh, this law particularly have protected employees who exposes the corruptions activity in their workplace. Also, this law encourages the employees who faced retaliation from the employers after exposing them regarding their uh, corruption activities to file a claim against those kind of employers in the labor court. Uh, this law particularly shifts the burden of proof to employer to demonstrate they did not violate the law. So basically, it says employers have to fight with the government in the court, proving them that they are not involved in any corruption activities. And then it is enforced by the labor court system. There were some recent amendment to it, which extended the statute of limitations and then uh, shift uh, the shift of burdens. This is subtopic 1C, where I'll be talking about whistleblowing laws in Hungary. The first law is called Act CLXB of 2013 on complaints and public interest disclosures. It was enacted in 2013. It covered both the private and public sectors. Basically, it worked as a framework for reporting and investigating any corruption activities. This law in Hungary uh, required specifically private companies to implement whistleblowing system internally, which also required to notify the Hungarian National Authority. Further, uh, this law made employers in Hungary responsible for any kind of investigations, related to the reports. Also, employers were allowed to dismiss any anonymous reports. However, this law was replaced by another law called 2023 Act, which I'll be talking about in a while. uh, because it is said that this law was not a comprehensive law. Also, also were not, aligned with the EU standard. So here is another law called Act XXB of 2023 on complaints, whistleblowing, and rules related to whistleblowing. So basically, it's the Hungarian Act. This law was passed in 2023 and also came into effect in 2023 July 24. This law covers both the private and public sectors, uh, and specifically, it mentioned that employers who have 50 plus employees, they are required to build internal whistleblowing system. Also, this law provided protection to the whistleblowers from any kind of retaliation. Also, this law mentions some kind of uh, timeline to respond and investigate reports. And unlike the previous law, this law provided a freedom to, you know, uh, freedom to report any kind of corruption activity anonymously. Further, it is said that Employment Monetary Authority will be responsible for its enforcement. However, its effectiveness is not measured yet, but it aims to, strengthen the whistleblower protections and bring uh, Hungary in line with the EU standards. So this law completely replaced the previous law, CLXV of 2013. It is seen as more comprehensive and then in align with, EU directives. This is subtopic 2A, where I'll be talking about a major whistleblowing incident in Kenya. This incident is called the Anglo leasing scandal 2004. This incident is considered as one of the most notorious contracts where a company called Anglo Leasing and Finance Limited ALFL, which is a supposed British incorporated company, and then the contract was related to issuing a system for new passport uh, for the Department of Immigration in Kenya. So talking about the incidents, there were total 18 separate contracts. Uh, 13 of them were made during the regime of President Daniel Arap Moi, and then the rest five contracts were done in the regime of President Moi Kibaki. And the investigation said that all these contracts were awarded to this company without any proper tendering procedure, and the total amount paid to the paid to this company, which was approximately $3.5 billion. And surprisingly, the investigation revealed that ALFL company were a ghost company, which is a non-existent company. So all these contracts were characterized as, highly inflated prices of the systems, and then it was never delivered. This incident has involved at least 20 high level individuals from both the private and public sectors. So, talking about the whistleblower who exposed this incident, the there is this man called Malcolm Mauer, which is also uh, one of the former MPs in Kenya, which is associated with Kenya African National Union, KANU party. And then there is another guy named John Githongo, which is who was the chief of Kenya's anti-corruption agency. Both of these guys played very important, very crucial role in this incident. And then in when this incident was reported in 2004 May, this company ALFL suddenly refunded 95 million Kenyan shillings to the government from the bank. So what happened after the incident? Though this incident scandal uh, was large in its nature, the prosecutions were not, successful as expected. Till 2024, only one conviction has been made, and then many suspects, which includes the businessman, the government officials, they were acquitted, saying that there is no enough evidence. And then some suspects even died. For example, former Finance Minister David uh, Mewiraria, and it's still his case is pending. So this scandal is still a significant incident in Kenya's history regarding the corruption, which shows the deep-rooted challenges in the country's economic and political system. So talking about the treatment to these whistleblowers, mm, so far there is no any direct negative consequences or the retaliation to the original whistleblower Mauer, who played very important role by exposing the scandal in public. He provided lots of documents, in the parliament so that uh, this uh, this case can be uh, studied studied in depth. However, for another whistleblower, John, it is said that he faced significant challenges and then threats from those officials, those businessmen, and then eventually he had to, fled to UK for the safety matters. Now, this is subtopic 2B, where I'll be talking about the whistleblowing incident in Israel. The case is called General Electric GE defense contract fraud case, which happened between 1991 and then 1992. This scandal uh, involves GE's GE's dealings with Israeli military. It is said that this scandal was started in 1984, which continued till it was exposed in 1991. There was this person who was a former Israeli Air Force brigadier, General Rami Dotan, and on the other side from GE, there was this guy who was a former G marketing specialist deployed in Israel. In these between 1984 and 1990, approximately 40 million US dollar were misutilized, were laundered, through GE by GE, issuing the inflated price vouchers for the military equipment, which was never delivered. So on the right side, in the screenshot I have shared the picture of uh, that Israeli government official, a military official. The problems were these guys uh, these guys used US provided funds, which was supposed to be, used for Israel's purchase of jet engines from GE, and then their supporting services. They used is unethically, which was not unauthorized, for their personal gain. And also it is said that these funds were utilized in used in unauthorized projects in Israel. So this case, also, as I said earlier, the equipment price were overly inflated, and there were tons of false claims, and then fictitious vouchers, which was used later on to pay the brigadier Rami Dotan. Here, this guy Chester L. Wells uh, comes into picture as a whistleblower who was a former G manager in Israel. This manager collected all the evidence and then sued GE under the False Claim Act provisions. This whistleblower substantially cooperated with the government, and also it is said that uh, during the investigation, even this whistleblower helped the officials to have audio records, which was recorded in Evendale, Ohio, G's facility, during a meeting with a G employee at a restaurant. So what happened? How did this case was solved? In 2000, in 1992, July 23, GE was pleaded guilty through the federal court, and then the GE was penalized $69 million, and also GE agreed to pay it to the US government. So what happened to the whistleblower? According to the law, Wales got protection from the government for any kind of adverse retaliation, and then also Wales was rewarded 22.5% of the recovery from the case, and then he also had to face some significant personal threat risk. It is said that since mm, the Israeli brigadier was involved in this incident, he also got some, physical threat from a hitman. This is subtopic 2C, where I'll be talking about major whistleblowing incident happened in Hungary. This is one of the major whistleblowing case in Hungary, let's say Hungary politics, which happened in 2024, where the corruption of Orban's government was exposed to the public. So there is this guy called Peter Magyar, who acts as a whistleblower here. This guy is a former insider from Prime Minister Orban's government, who who also helped, Orban's government, working in a ranking official, who is also ex-husband of former Justice Minister Judith Berga. So this guy submitted an audio to the Prosecutor General's office for the investigation. He spent hours and hours cooperating with the officials, and he says that he claims that he has more recordings, and then he wants to provide it to the investigators. What happened in this incident? This former high ranking officer, he released an audio recording where his ex-wife, also the ex-justice minister Varga, talks about the removal of evidence from the court, which is related to the corruption case called Saddle Walner case. So at the time, at the moment, corruption case was happening there. So let's try to see what was this Saddle Walner corruption case. There is this guy called Jair Z. Saddle, who is the president of Hungarian Court Bailiff's office, and then there is this another guy called Paul Volner, who is a state secretary at the Ministry of Justice. So Saddle allegedly bribed Volner continuously, with large uh, ton of money in the exchange of Volner's help to recruit Saddle's preferred candidates as bailiffs in his office. So he used to collect money as a bribe from the bailiffs so that he could, recruit those people, those people. And also, it is said that he also helped uh, some individuals in, in cheating on the university exam as well. So still, the trial is going on, and then Volnor, he resigned from his position, and then opposition has called for an examination of the involvement of former Justice Minister Varga. So what happened to the whistleblower, Magyar here? Since this guy exposed this incident publicly in a rally, there is in my thinking, in my analysis, there is a little chance to little chance for his let's say personal threats, physical threats. However, he has been accused by the government officials for harassing his ex-wife, also for the domestic violence, and then it is said that he was accused of making his wife, who is ex justice minister Varga, to make statements under duress. So after this incident, what happened there? Thousands and thousands of demonstrators were gathering and demanding for the justice and the proper investigations. So this guy still has called for further protest, and then announcements. uh, he also has announced to form a new political party to challenge Orban's government. This is subtopic 3A, where I'll be talking about the leadership profile of Dr. James Mwangi. Dr. James Mwangi is MD and CEO of Equity Bank Group. He is a highly successful Kenyan business leader uh, who has played crucial role, important role in country's financial sector and then economy. His leadership in equity banks shows that uh, you know, he has uh, very positive leadership traits, and he's been known as a good leader who transformed uh, Equity Bank from a small so company to a big giant financial institution in Kenya. Talking about his personality and then leadership traits, he uh, he has demonstrated that he is a visionary leader, and then he has a vision to expand the financial inclusion in Kenya and in East Africa. He has pioneered the innovative banking solutions in Kenya, where there were no banks, and then lots of underbanked population, where uh, he found out a solution to provide banking solutions to them through the banking agency banking and then mobile banking platforms. So he believes in democratizing the access to financial services to all the people in Kenya and in East Africa. So talking about integrity, he has demonstrated high integrity in business dealings. Also, because of this, he has won several ethics and governance awards in the Kenya in the region. However, he is not away from the accusations, the allegations of uh, you know impropriety. Talking about the good examples by him, he has shown an example through his strong work ethic and then hands-on leadership style. It is said that he is still he is involved in working long hours and then the daily operations. So his rags to riches story shows a very influential example in the region. Uh, it is mentioned that from the very beginning he has been uh, ambitious person who has set the equity bank to the higher level, and then uh, also able to achieve such growth. He communicates his strategy goals to expand the banking services to uh, the customers. He he empowers his employees. He believes in his employees, and then also he has his company is conducting several human developmental programs, and then he also serves as a mentor for young entrepreneurs through the Equity Group Foundation. Further, he is a very accountable and responsible person, and uh, he also holds his managers accountable. Further, yeah, he has been challenging, and then he knows when to challenge the authority. He challenged the status quo and pushed for regulatory changes in the new banking policies in Kenya. He has spoken several times regarding the economic issues, and then he focuses on ethical business practices and then social responsibility, corporate social responsibility as well. And then he is he is working in sustainability and the community development from the very beginning. He says that there should be a balance between the profit and then societal impact. Further, he strongly believes that uh, believes in internal locus of control, which also has been proved by his self-made success story. And then he takes the responsibility for the bank's performance. And talking about Machiavellian tendencies, uh, he is not overtly Machiavellian. He has shown the pragmatism and then the political savvy in navigating, Kenya's business environment and then expanding uh, the bank's influence. Also, he is known for having a good relationship with the political leaders while maintaining, independence from them, staying away from them. And this is subtopic 3B, where I'll be talking about leadership profile of Eyal Waldman, who is a tech leader in Israel, who is known to known for being known for co-founding Mellanox Technologies, later on which he sold to Nvidia for $6.9 billion. He is also famous for his philanthropic activities and then especially for peace activism. Waldman is very a visionary person in both business and then societal realms. He led his company Milanux uh, to uh, to a global leader in chip making company, and then he envisions the peace between Palestine and Israel. He's committed in hiring Palestine workers and donating to Palestinian cause, and then the improvements even after his personal tragedy. He says, I have shared a screen here. He says either we need to continue to kill each other, that means the Israeli and then the Palestinian, or we need to continue to learn to live next to each other. And he says, I think the second option is much better. So he has shown a good example through his, uh, vision about the Israel and Palestinian. And it is also said that he is very known for being hands-on and valuing his employees well. So regarding the goals clarity, Wallman has clarity in goals. For example, Wallman was able to get his company Milanox from nothing to a global leader in chip making. Further, he always he always advocates for cooperation between the Israelis and Palestinians. And then he says this cooperation is possible through the employment opportunities, so that uh, because of that he had he has employed several Palestinians in his company. And in 2023 October 7, in Israel there was a war through mm, he also launched the next October project to create 1,200 startups in honor of attack victims, which encourage the entrepreneurship in Israel. And then he as other leaders, he also holds his employees and then managers accountable. And he is also known for his challenge and criticism of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and then 2023 Israeli judicial reform. He is so ethical. He has hired Palestinians and fostered understanding between the communities, which shows the ethical leadership of this person. And he has a strong internal locus of control, uh, which can be seen as his entrepreneurial success and then his response to his personal tragedy. The personal tragedy was, his personal tragedy was the death of his daughter and her partner in October 7, 2023. Uh, Further, he's also known to have Machiavellian traits, and then he consistently advocates for uh, the peace and business practices, ethical business practices. I have shared an screenshot here from the Jerusalem Post, which says, and I quote, Wallman had been employing Palestinians for years as part of a vision that this could help foster peace and has donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to a hospital in Gaza, according to media reports. This is subtopic 3, where I'll be talking about the leadership profile of Viktor Orban. I talked earlier about the Peter Magyar, right, who was a whistleblower for the corruption during the regime of Orban, Prime Minister. This for me, this he is an interesting person to study for his leadership profile. The he, uh, Orban has been the Prime Minister of Hungary since 2010, and previously since 2010 till 1, and also previously he was the Prime Minister of Hungary from 1998 to 2002, and he is the longest serving Prime Minister in Hungary, though he's been known for his controversial uh, leadership. His involvement in Hungarian politics makes him very interesting person to learn his leadership profile. Uh, this person has a very clear vision for Hungary. He says illiberal democracy or the Christian liberty. He has been advocating for Christian values and then national identity in the Hungary. Regarding the integrity factor of this person, he is highly, highly involved in the controversies regarding his integrity. His supporters obviously view him as a defender of Hungary, whereas his critics, such as Peter Magyar, criticizes him for his corruption and undermining democratic institutions. Regarding the examples that he has shown, he's controversial, and then, however, his growth b- uh, from a rural background to becoming the Hungary's long-serving prime minister can be an inspiration for the for the people. Regarding the demands and accountability for the responsibility, he demands for accountability from others, particularly his political opponents and then NGOs. Uh, uh, he has been criticized for not holding himself and then his allies to the same standards. He has consistently challenged EU authority, often, positioning him as a defender of Hungarian sovereignty against what he portrays as EU overreach. And then his ethical standard is based on his vision of Christian liberty and then the national values. Uh, he also shows a strong internal locus of control, uh, and then he believes that his ability uh, helps to shape Hungary's future. And then regarding Machiavellian trait, Orban's leadership has been described as a perfect Machiavellian in the Hungary politics. and he shows the pragmatic uh, power, which include uh, which includes the electoral rules changes, and then curbing the media freedom in Hungary. Now, talking about the whistleblowing and then leadership, though at a glance these two seems completely different from each other. However, the ways and then the intention seem so related to each other. For example, ethical decision making. Uh, Both the whistleblowers and then the a good leader, they both require strong ethical standards. Basically, it has to be proven to others, and then uh, leaders are expected to make decisions we are upholding the organizational values and integrity. For example, Orban's leadership in Hungary shows that how a lack of ethical decision making can lead to such situations where whistleblowing becomes necessary. And then the courage and risk taking. Both the whistleblower and the leaders, they take a risk, they have courage, they often encourage others, and then they challenge the status quo and take risk. And then both whistleblower and the leaders, they both are visionary. They envisions improving the organizers organizations and societal improvement to create a better and then more ethical workplace or society. Both whistleblower and the leaders, they both are accountable and then responsible for their act. And I already said they both like to challenge the authority so that the status quo can be changed, can be improved. And then for the whistleblowing and leadership, communication and transparency is very, very important. Nothing can be hide, nothing can be communicated in ambiguity manner. Integrity and consistency is very, very important because personal integrity and consistency of their work and values has to be aligned with their vision and so on. So they both like to have change. Thank you.